Discover the life-changing moment when a homeless boy asks a millionaire, "Can I eat with you?" A journey of heart and hope. Jaden hunched beneath the train tracks, a makeshift cardboard shelter around him a fragile cocoon in the bustling chaos of Chicago. He was only 12, but life had already taught him harsh lessons about survival. The rumble of trains and the voices of busy commuters created a blurred soundtrack to his daily struggle, yet somehow, he dreamed. He clung to a future filled with friends, laughter, and a warm meal. Every morning, he would walk the streets, hunting for anything edible, the aroma of fresh coffee and baked goods drifting by like a tempting mirage. One sunny afternoon, as colorful banners swayed above a cafe celebrating the city's vibrant culture, the heady scent of roasted meats and spices hit him like a wave. Jaden's heart raced. He was hungry, but more than that, he yearned for connection. Clenching his fists, he stepped closer, gazing at Gregory, a wealthy businessman who was making waves in the news for his philanthropic work. Jaden had seen his face splashed on the front pages, where privilege and possibility met. Summoning every ounce of courage, Jaden approached Gregory's table. The polished wood and crisp white napkins felt impossibly foreign. With a voice that wavered but held firm, he asked, "Can I eat with you?" Silence fell, hanging heavy in the air, as curiosity and disbelief flickered across Gregory's face. The weight of their social divide was palpable, yet beneath that surprise lay something deeper, a seed of compassion. Gregory motioned for him to sit, and it was the beginning of something beautiful, yet unpredictable. As they shared a meal, Jaden spoke, offering tales of everyday survival, the warmth of his voice contrasting with the sterile elegance of the cafe. "I do what I can," he said, "but dreams don't grow on concrete." Gregory listened, his heart tightening as he contemplated what truly mattered. Each story filled the gaps of understanding, stoking a fire of awareness within them both. The cafe buzzed around them, but for a moment, it was just their dialogue, a connection forged from stark realities. Then they discovered a shared love for baseball. Jaden's eyes sparkled, and with each innocent word, he unraveled Gregory's perspective on success. But just as their bond deepened, the shadows of media scrutiny loomed. Flashes of cameras and whispers of suspicion threatened to eclipse Jaden's light. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jaden felt Gregory's turmoil, sensing the weight on his shoulders. "It's okay to look at the privilege. You're not alone in this," he advised, his voice steady. The truth was undeniable. They were bound by fate, and his unwavering hope called out to them both. With the community rallying around Jaden's story, a flicker of optimism bloomed against the backdrop of their emerging controversy. But as the whispers grew louder, Jaden faced an impending storm, one that threatened to drown out the real essence of their struggle. Would they rise above this chaos, or would their shared journey slip into obscurity? The answer lingered in the air, charged with emotion and possibility, like the vibrant banners waving above the chaos. The wind whipped through the streets as night fell, cloaking the city in darkness. Jaden nestled deeper into his cardboard sanctuary, cocooned by a threadbare blanket. It was remarkable how the warmth of an unexpected meal still lingered within him, bright like the fading echoes of laughter shared with Gregory. But with that warmth came anxiety. What would happen now? The media had already taken notice of their encounter. Camera flashes had captured Jaden's face, that hopeful glimmer, but they had also caught his story, raw and heartfelt. Soon, headlines would twist and filter, painting their connection in shades of scrutiny. He had seen it happen before. Stray stories about good-hearted folks doing charity work often ended in cynicism. Would Gregory become another figure of controversy, or would he stand firm? Jaden's stomach curled at the thought. He didn't want to be a fleeting headline. Later that night, as he threaded his way back to his spot beneath the tracks, Jaden clenched a small scrap of paper he'd hidden in his pocket. It was a ticket from the game he'd planned to attend with Gregory next week, a symbol of hope and friendship. But the shadows loomed larger than ever. If their connection was cut short, what would remain of their dreams? The next morning, the world was buzzing. Jaden woke to the sharp ring of phones, the clattering of keyboards, and the familiar echo of laughter that once brought him comfort now taking on a bitter edge. People were talking about him, about Gregory. Some called it an inspiring friendship. Others dismissed it as just another publicity stunt. As Jaden made his way through the streets, clutching the ticket tightly, he caught snippets of conversations around him. "Did you see that kid? The one who begged to eat with a millionaire? Yeah, but what do you expect?" This was all planned, others would argue, shaking their heads. Jaden stopped in his tracks, feeling small beneath the waves of opinion battering his resolve. He wanted to shout, to explain how real it had felt, how Gregory listened, how they both laughed over their shared love for baseball. But no words bubbled up, only the weight of doubt pressed down on him. Suddenly, he stumbled across a small crowd gathered around an outdoor TV, broadcasting a news report. His heart raced as he caught sight of Gregory's face on the screen, the anchor speaking about their lunch and what it meant for social change. Gregory appeared earnest, speaking from the heart, but the words felt distorted. "My new friend Jaden, he represents a generation climbing for a leg up." At that moment, Jaden's insides twisted. Was that how Gregory viewed him? A poster child for hope? He wanted to be more than a symbol. A surge of determination flooded through him. What if he could take control of this story? With that thought, he turned to walk away from the crowd, voice trembling but clear in his thoughts. If they were going to write about him, he would write his own story. Jaden clenched his ticket tighter, a fresh resolve igniting his spirit. He knew he had to confront this head-on and not let it slip away, but that meant reaching out to Gregory first. Can a homeless kid and a millionaire truly change the narrative together, or would they be trapped in the stories written by others? The question hung heavily in the air, waiting for an answer. Jaden's heart raced as he navigated the streets, the ticket pressed against his palm. The crowd's whispers became a blur, replaced by the thudding noise of his own thoughts. How could he reach Gregory? Did he even want to? With every step, uncertainty gnawed at him like a frayed nerve. A few blocks away, he spotted a familiar coffee shop where he had first met Gregory. It was buzzing with life, filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and pastries. Jaden hesitated, the thick glass door acting like a barrier between two worlds. Would Gregory want to see him? Would he even bother to shield Jaden from the whirlwind of attention that seemed to follow him now? Taking a deep breath, he brushed a hand through his tousled hair and pushed through the door. The chime of the bell over the entrance felt like a loud announcement, a declaration that this was where things would change. The shop was warm, a stark contrast to the chill outside. Jaden scanned the room, spotting Gregory already seated, phone in hand, his face illuminated by the screen. When their eyes met, a flicker of recognition crossed Gregory's features. He stood up, his expression shifting from surprise to a warm smile that made Jaden's heart flutter, though anxiety still twisted in his stomach. He approached, the ticket clutched tightly, ready to confront the messy emotions swirling inside him. "Hey, Jaden," Gregory said, his voice bright and cheerful, making it clear that he hadn't lost that spark from their first meeting. "I was just thinking about you." "Really?" The word slipped out before Jaden could stop it, surprise coloring his tone. He swallowed his apprehension and sat down across from Gregory. "Yeah. The response to our lunch has been incredible," Gregory exclaimed, eyes shining. "There's so much buzz, and people are really interested in helping others like you." Jaden's chest tightened. Helping? Or just talking about it? The words escaped before he could filter them. Gregory's smile faltered, replaced by a look of concern. "I mean, it's both, right? There's a lot of good that can come from this. I don't want to be a headline." Jaden's voice was barely above a whisper, but it felt like a storm inside him. I want to be me. Not a story for them to write, or a charity case for people to rally behind. I just want a chance. Silence fell between them, heavy and palpable. Jaden held his breath, waiting for Gregory's response, the ticket feeling like a weight between them. I get that. Gregory leaned forward, earnestness in his eyes. I never saw you as just a story. You're Jaden, you're real. We can do something meaningful not for the headlines, but for you. For us. The sincerity in Gregory's voice broke Jaden's defense. He felt a rush of hope and fear mingle within him. But how? Let us turn this around, Gregory suggested, his eyes narrowing with determination. Let us use what we have to make a real change. We can create an event, something where people learn your story directly from you. Jaden felt a spark ignite in his heart. A new plan, a real purpose, shouted at him from the corners of possibility. You'd want to do that? Absolutely, Gregory replied. You wouldn't just be a face in the crowd. You'd lead it. The weight on Jaden's shoulders began to lift, replaced by a sense of direction. He stared at the ticket, a symbol of not only baseball but something much grander, the chance to rewrite his narrative. Okay, he finally said, breathless with anticipation. Let us do it. But deep inside, a lingering doubt remained. Can a friendship forged in unexpected circumstances withstand the pressure of public opinion? And what if their plans backfired? What if Jaden opened his heart only to get hurt again? As those questions circled in his mind, Jaden couldn't help but wonder, was this the turning point he'd been waiting for, or just the calm before a storm? The idea of leading an event wrapped around Jaden's mind like a vine. He felt both exhilaration and fear, battling for dominance. So, where do we start? He asked, his voice steadier now, a hint of excitement creeping into it. Gregory's eyes lit up, reflecting the inspiration that was sparking between them. We brainstorm some ideas. Get a list of people who might want to help, local businesses, maybe some sponsors. Even social media influencers who care about these causes could pitch in. He leaned back, a smile tugging at his lips, as if he were already picturing the event unfolding in vibrant color. Jaden nodded, feeling the energy pulse through him. I can share my story. But, on my own terms. It's got to feel right. He took a breath, letting his mind settle on the vision he was beginning to form. He imagined a room filled with people listening intently, not because they had to, but because they wanted to understand. Exactly. We want to create an atmosphere that feels safe and genuine, Gregory said, animatedly tapping his fingers on his coffee cup. You'll be in charge of telling your story. We can even have some activities. Activities? Jaden raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Yeah. Things that get people involved, connects them to your journey. Like discussions or QA sessions. Gregory paused, as if a light bulb had gone off. We should have a section where people can write letters of encouragement, share their own experiences. It could be powerful. Jaden smiled, his pulse quickening. The thought of people reaching out to him filled him with a strange warmth. Powerful, I like that. Just then, the barista called out, order for Gregory. A cup of steaming cappuccino, topped with frothy art, was placed on the counter. Gregory stood to grab it, and as he returned to the table, Jaden caught a glimpse of something in Gregory's gaze, a glimmer of hope mingled with determination. Let us set a date, Gregory said, taking a sip of his drink. We need to pick a day to make it all happen. People are eager to help, we just have to give them a way in. Right. Jaden traced his finger over the edge of the ticket still in his grasp, realizing that this opportunity was the lifeline he had been searching for. What if we try to do it at the park? It feels open. Yes. Gregory beamed. That could work. The park has a lot of foot traffic, and we can utilize the natural setting. As they chatted, an idea blossomed in Jaden's mind. What if we also invite some people to share their experiences? You know, people who've gone through similar situations? Gregory nodded eagerly, his enthusiasm infectious. Absolutely. It'll create a community feel, showing everyone that they're not alone. Jaden felt a rush of adrenaline at the thought. Maybe this was where they would shift the narrative. He could show the world resilience, vulnerability, and strength, not just his own story, but a tapestry of experiences woven from threads of human connection. But as the conversation continued, doubt began to creep in again. Could he truly be ready for this? Would opening up bring him the healing he so desperately sought? As Jaden shifted in his seat, a sudden realization washed over him. Gregory, what if people don't come? What if no one wants to hear me? Gregory met his gaze, the confidence in his demeanor unwavering. We can't control who shows up, but we can control how genuine our intentions are. It'll matter to those who do. The tension in Jaden's chest eased a little. But still, his heart trembled with uncertainty. And what if I can't do this? What if I freeze? With a reassuring nod, Gregory smiled. We take it one step at a time. You can lean on me, Jaden. We'll figure it out together. Facing that smile, Jaden felt a flicker of courage ignite within him. Perhaps, with Gregory at his side, he could brave the storm of vulnerability ahead. But still, the nagging questions lingered. Would he emerge renewed and unbroken, or would he find himself shattered under the weight of expectations? The conversation shifted, but deep down, those doubts clung to Jaden. As they set their plans in motion, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Could he truly lead this event without losing himself in the process? The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the city. Jaden and Gregory had settled into a routine of meetings at the cafe. Every session buzzed with excitement, and Jaden felt something building inside him, a blend of fear and hope that was almost electrifying. Okay, so we need a catchy name for the event, Gregory said, tapping away at his laptop, a fresh steaming cup of coffee by his side. Something that'll stick with people. Something that reflects the heart of what you want to share. Jaden leaned back, running his fingers through his hair. Names flitted through his mind like leaves in the wind, voices of resilience, breaking barriers, together we rise. But each one felt off, unworthy somehow. What if we called it Brave Together? He suggested tentatively. The weight of the words hung in the air: togetherness, bravery, hope. Gregory's eyes widened. That's perfect. It captures everything. It feels safe, hopeful. And it tells people you're not alone in your struggle. Jaden smiled, his earlier doubts dimming just a little. But a new wave of anxiety washed over him. What if they don't feel brave? What if they feel like they're being judged? Then we start with you. You set the tone. Your story is powerful enough to invite them in, Gregory replied, his voice steady. But Jaden couldn't shake off the fear gnawing at him. They spent the next few hours planning, mapping out logistics, and crafting messages for promoting the event on social media. With each passing moment, Jaden felt the stirrings of something profound deep within, a longing for connection, understanding, and healing. Still, late at night, when he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, deep doubts began to creep back. Was he truly brave enough to stand in front of a crowd? What if he stumbled over his words or froze in the spotlight? What if his story didn't resonate? The second-guessing felt like a weight pressing down on his chest. He rolled over, trying to shake the nerves, but they remained like restless shadows. The next morning, Jaden decided to take a walk in the park. The familiar trails, bursting with color and life, usually calmed him. He needed that calm now more than ever. As he wandered through the greenery, he spotted families laughing, kids playing, and couples strolling hand in hand. Then, he noticed a man sitting on a nearby bench. He had a scruffy beard and wore a tattered jacket. Jaden felt a pull to approach him. Maybe sharing a moment with someone who understood struggles could ground him. "Hey," he said softly, settling next to the man. "You okay?" The man turned to Jaden, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. "Yeah, just taking in the day." "You?" "I'm trying to figure some stuff out," Jaden replied, his throat tightening. "Doing something big, but I don't know if I can pull it off." A warm smile spread across the man's face. "You never know until you try, right? Sometimes, the hardest part is just getting started. If it matters to you, it'll matter to someone else." Those words resonated deeply with Jaden. It was a reminder he desperately needed. With that simple exchange, he felt a flicker of hope reignite. Returning home later, Jaden was filled with clarity. He started jotting down everything he wanted to say at the event: guarded moments, tough lessons, and the strength found in vulnerability. But just as he began crafting his narrative, a message pinged on his phone. It was a notification about an upcoming community board meeting. They were discussing issues surrounding homelessness and mental health. Suddenly, an idea struck him like a bolt of lightning. What if he could incorporate this meeting into his event? Bridging the gap between his story and that larger conversation felt essential. His heart raced. What if this was what he needed? But just as excitement swelled within him, fear slithered back. Was he ready to intersect his journey with a cause so vast? As the sun dipped below the horizon, Jaden sat at his desk, staring at the blank page before him, filled with both determination and uncertainty. Could he truly bring his story into a space so much larger than himself? The following morning was overcast, a veil of gray stretching across the sky. As Jaden stood by his small kitchen window, he watched raindrops race each other down the glass. He felt the weight of the previous day's decisions pressing down on him, a mixture of hope and fear battling within. The idea of intertwining his event with the community conversation sparked a flame in him, yet the fear of the unknown gnawed at his resolve. He hurried through his morning routine, thoughts swirling. The event details were slowly taking shape, but he knew he needed a compelling opening. He wanted to connect with people right from the start. Maybe even share something raw, something vulnerable. With a warm mug of coffee cradled in his hands, Jaden settled down at his kitchen table. He turned on his laptop and clicked open a blank document. The cursor blinked expectantly, taunting him. He took a deep breath. "All right, let's do this," he murmured to himself. As he began typing, he let the words flow freely, drawing from his own story the struggles with self-doubt, the moments of isolation, and the sheer will to find his voice. His fingers raced across the keyboard, pouring out his thoughts. The memories played in vivid colors as if they were alive, taking him back to the darker days when he felt invisible. Standing alone in a crowded room, he typed, pausing to feel the sentiment behind it. He contemplated how many others had felt that same loneliness, the weight of isolation in a world teeming with people. Suddenly, there was a knock at his door. Jaden jumped slightly, surprised by the interruption. He wasn't expecting anyone. Hesitantly, he stood up and opened it. On the other side was an elderly woman, her face lined with kindness. She held a basket filled with freshly baked goods, the mouth-watering aroma wrapping around Jaden like a warm blanket. "Hi, dear," she said with a gentle smile. "I live a few houses down and thought you might like some cookies." Jaden's heart swelled. "Thank you. That's so thoughtful of you." They chatted for a few moments, exchanging smiles and stories about the neighborhood. Her warmth was contagious, and it reminded Jaden of the power of simple connections. Just like the man in the park had provided comfort to him, this woman was now spreading joy. "Connecting with each other, it's what we need most," she said as she left. Her words echoed in Jaden's mind long after she walked away. He returned to his table, the sweet aroma of cookies now mingling with his coffee. It hit him then, he had to create an atmosphere of openness during the event. A space where every voice mattered. He needed to remind them that their stories were valid, just like his was. As he typed again, he envisioned the audience, their eyes watching, ears open. The chance to encourage vulnerability became clearer, and he felt a renewed sense of purpose rising within him. This wasn't just about his journey, it was about the collective experiences that could foster understanding, but just when clarity began to settle, a familiar panic bubbled up. Would they listen? Would they feel comfortable sharing their own stories? What if people felt compelled but too afraid to speak? His thoughts raced as he realized he needed to find a way to create a safe space like that park bench conversation, where strangers could share without the fear of judgment. He took a big breath and closed his eyes, envisioning the event unfolding: faces, voices, emotions. Suddenly, a loud car horn blared from outside, startling him. Jaden's heart raced as he gazed out the window, watching a group of people walking by, their laughter bright against the cloudy backdrop. This event was going to be more than he ever dreamed. But it was still missing something. He grabbed his phone and opened the messaging app, ready to reach out to Gregory. Just then, a thought hit him: what if he invited people from the community board meeting to share their expertise? Their participation could offer depth that he didn't have alone. He felt a surge of adrenaline. Before writing to Gregory, he let out a long breath and closed his eyes. Could he bridge his personal story with a cause so profound? Excitement and fear danced within him as he pressed send on the message to Gregory. The reality of what was to come felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Would he be able to build something beautiful out of it all? He glanced at the muted sky, the clouds thickening. The next chapter of his life was about to begin, a journey toward connection, with ripples that could spread far beyond his own struggles. Would he have the courage to step forward? Jaden spent the rest of the day in a frenzy of preparation. Ideas tumbled around his mind like leaves caught in a gust of wind. With each passing hour, he scoured through flyers, social media posts, and even reached out to neighbors with shared enthusiasm for the community event. The rain had stopped, but the heaviness of the impending event lingered in the air, thick with anticipation. As night fell, he retreated to his kitchen once again, his laptop before him and a plate of cookies at his side. He wasn't sure if the cookies were for him or if they served as an offering of comfort in the form of nostalgia. Either way, he munched on one, its warmth cradling his heart just as the elderly woman had embraced him with her kindness. The hours slipped by as Jaden settled into a new rhythm of creation, every word he typed infused with hope. He drafted a list of potential speakers: moms, teachers, youth group leaders, anyone who could add a special touch to the event. His fingers paused over the keyboard as an idea sparked within him. He could create small breakout groups for discussions, intimate spaces where anyone could reflect on their feelings, share experiences, and even learn from one another. But the shadow of doubt loomed again. Was he really capable of orchestrating something like this? Would his community even care? The thought of failure was almost palpable. Just then, his phone buzzed, pulling him from this spiral of worry. A message from Gregory flickered on the screen: "I'm in. Let's meet tomorrow to brainstorm." Heart pounding, Jaden practically jumped from his seat. The warmth of the cookies turned to a burst of energy, and he felt a flicker of solidarity in Gregory's confirmation. The next day unfolded bright with promise. They met at a quaint cafe, filled with the scent of freshly brewed coffee and the murmurs of lively conversation. As they poured through ideas together, Gregory's enthusiasm was infectious. Jaden stepped into a world of colors as they discussed themes, connections, and potential barriers to comfort. "Remember," Gregory said, his gaze steady and affirming, "people want to share. They just need a little nudge. You're creating the right environment. Trust in that." Jaden nodded, but uncertainty still lingered in his chest. As they wrapped up, he wondered if they were really on the right path. Would the community respond? What if they didn't? Just as those thoughts threatened to overwhelm him, another familiar face entered the cafe. It was the elderly woman, the very one who had handed him the basket of cookies. She waved enthusiastically, and Jaden felt warmth wash over him. "Mind if I join?" she asked, her smile radiating the kindness he remembered. "Of course." Jaden said, motioning for her to sit. They began to chat. Jaden shared snippets of his idea, her eyes lighting up with intrigue. She offered suggestions drawn from her years of experience connecting with others. It was a whirlwind exchange of enthusiasm, and Jaden found clarity with every word she spoke. "You know, young man," she said, her gaze locking onto his, "you may feel unsure, but it's those very feelings that will resonate with others. It's about being honest and real, and baked goods don't hurt either." Jaden laughed, feeling a thermal wave of courage rise within him. They shared laughter and stories, creating a small pocket of vulnerability right in that cafe. As she stood to leave, she placed a hand on his shoulder. "You've got this, dear. You're not alone in this journey," she said, her voice rich with conviction. His heart beat hard in his chest as her words took root. There was truth in what she said. This was more than just his event, this was a collaboration. As the sky began to dim and the sun set behind clouds, Jaden stepped outside to breathe in the chill of the evening air. He felt ready, yet a new worry settled in. Would he truly be able to lead this conversation? Just then, a young boy approached him, tousled hair and eyes wide with innocence. "Excuse me, sir," he said quietly. "I heard you're organizing a talk, can I come? I don't want to be alone." Jaden knelt down to meet the boy's gaze, heart swelling with compassion. This moment was everything he had been aiming for, a chance to connect. "Yes," he replied, voice steady. "You're welcome. Everyone is welcome." As the boy's face brightened with a hopeful smile, Jaden knew the stakes had just grown higher. The community wasn't just a crowd, it was individuals with their own silent stories. He turned back toward the cafe, determination flooding his every vein. This journey was just beginning, but Jaden felt the horizon of possibility stretched before him. Would they all be brave enough to share their truths? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the streets, and Jaden felt a sense of urgency. He needed to keep that momentum. People needed to know about the event, but more importantly, they needed to feel they belonged. The young boy, with his wide eyes and vulnerable plea, had stirred something deep within him. "Can I help?" Another voice broke through his thoughts. It was a nearby teen, a girl with bright pink hair and a hopeful stare who had been watching the interaction from a distance. "I heard you talking about the talk. I want to help you." "Absolutely. What's your name?" Jaden asked, surprised by her eagerness. "Lily," she said, a grin spreading across her face. "I can spread the word through social media. There are tons of kids at school who'd love to come." Jaden felt the spark of excitement ignite again. "That would be amazing. We can create a flyer together, maybe even a video to really catch their interest." Lily pulled out her phone, her fingers tapping away with a fervor that was infectious. "Let's do a quick selfie to start. They want to see what this is all about. People connect through faces, right?" Jaden laughed, the weight in his chest lifting as he posed beside her. "Sure, why not?" Their laughter echoed down the street, each smile igniting a kind of magic that he hadn't expected. It reminded him of the small moments of joy the elderly woman had shown him, how connection often sparked in the unlikeliest places. As they crafted their plans, they found themselves surrounded by others. A group of moms with children in tow stopped to peek at their flyer. "What's this all about?" one asked, curiosity lacing her voice. Before long, they were drawing in more community members, creating a circle of chatter and ideas. Hours seemed to fuse into a blur of excitement and collaboration. One woman offered to bring snacks, another suggested music might ease people into sharing. Each contribution made Jaden's heart swell. This was becoming something bigger than he ever imagined. As dusk settled in, a crowd began to gather around them, laughter interspersed with warm conversation. Jaden watched as stories unfurled like petals blooming in springtime. Strangers shared smiles, while others provided support just by standing close, reinforcing the very connection Jaden had hoped to foster. Yet, amidst this newfound camaraderie, something gnawed at him. He turned to Lily. "What if we're not ready? What if no one shows up?" "Just look around," she replied, gesturing to the faces lighting up with enthusiasm. "You're already building it. You're not alone in this anymore." Her words soaked into him, a balm against his doubts. He took a deep breath, his vision sharpening as he stepped back to see the picture unfolding. This wasn't just about him anymore, it was a community blooming with hope, ready to share, but as they plotted and planned, the weight of responsibility pressed down. Would he be able to handle the stories they'd bring? Was there enough space for all their truths? Every face here was brimming with expectation, and Jaden's pulse quickened as reality set in. A soft tug on his sleeve pulled him from his spiraling thoughts. The young boy had returned, accompanied by a girl who looked nervous but eager, shifting from foot to foot. "Is it really for everyone? Can the kids come too?" he asked, his eyes wide again, brimming with hope all over. "Yes, everyone is invited," Jaden assured him, feeling the gravity of his words. "This is a space for all of us." The boy beamed, confidence blooming between them. As the evening air carried a hopeful breeze, Jaden felt a spark of connection deeper than just planning. It was starting to feel real. Just then, a chilling realization sparked in his thoughts. What if there were stories that became too big to share? What if emotions bubbled to the surface, unleashing the raw realities they often hid? He stood firm, nerves settling as he faced the crowd, the warmth of shared hope dancing all around him. "We'll face it together," he whispered to himself, determined and unyielding. As he looked at the group around him, anticipation swelled within. They were ready, and so was he. But deep down, a new question loomed larger than any fear: could he really be the one to guide them all through? Jaden's heart raced as the crowd drew closer, their faces animated with curiosity. The energy was electric, sparking something inside him that he hadn't felt in a long while. As he glanced around, he saw familiar faces alongside strangers, all drawn together by the idea of connection and community. He took a step forward, clearing his throat. "Hey everyone," he called out, igniting a hush that fell over the group. "Thank you for being here. Tonight, we share stories, laughter, and a bit of ourselves. This event is for everyone, regardless of where you come from or what you've been through. It's about belonging." A ripple of applause broke out, and Jaden felt a surge of warmth rising through him. The sincerity in their eyes was unmistakable. They were here, and they wanted to be part of something. Lily stood nearby, her pink hair catching the soft glow of the streetlights, and she beamed at Jaden. He returned her smile, realizing how much her support helped lift the weight. Excitement filled the air. Just as he was about to continue, a voice pierced through the chatter, startling everyone. "Is it really for everybody?" The voice was small but firm. Jaden turned to see one of the mothers from earlier, her little boy peeking out from behind her leg. "Yes, absolutely," Jaden answered, feeling the intensity of the moment. "Everyone has a story, and we want to hear yours. You are welcome here." The boy's eyes lit up, a mix of relief and eagerness spreading across his face. It was a hopeful nod that said enough of his own story remained untold, waiting to be shared. Jaden looked down at him and felt a fresh resolve wash over him. This kid would be heard, just like everyone else. As the conversations shifted and laughter bubbled up again, Jaden felt a deepening sense of purpose wash over him. But what if emotional stories surfaced that nobody was prepared to handle? What would happen if sharing became a moment of vulnerability? He felt the urgency in that thought, tightening like a noose inside his chest. "Let us form a circle," he suggested, an idea hitting him like a thunderbolt. "We'll go around and share what this space means to us. It doesn't have to be anything heavy, just your name and how you feel being here." The crowd murmured in agreement. Jaden stepped into the middle, feeling the weight of his own intention deepen even as his doubts crept back. "Who wants to start?" he asked, his voice slightly shakier than he intended. He felt exposed, standing in the circle, vulnerable alongside everyone else. A girl with bright purple glasses hesitantly raised her hand. "I can," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "My name's Claire. I'm scared sometimes, like, really scared. But I feel brave being here." Her sentiment hit home. Jaden nodded, encouraging her, and the group echoed support in murmurs and soft claps. The circle was stitching itself together, one brave word at a time. The next person shared, and then another, each story adding layer upon layer, excitement mixed with fear, joy soaked in vulnerability. It was cathartic, like a release of pent-up emotions, but then, the atmosphere shifted. A man appearing older, tired, spoke up in a deep, trembling voice. "I'm Sam. I lost everything." The words were raw, the sadness palpable in his tone. Jaden felt the air shift, tension slicing through the sweet warmth just moments ago. Sam's pain cut deeper, drawing everyone's attention. Jaden's heart ached but couldn't look away. It was real now. People were opening up. This was the moment he feared but also knew was necessary. How would he handle such raw honesty? As Sam continued, Jaden realized they were diving into the depths together. He felt the weight of the stories colliding. The collective vulnerability was powerful, but as Sam spoke, a glimmer of uncertainty settled in Jaden's mind. How had he prepared for this? How would they all cope with the heavy truths starting to surface? The crowd leaned in, breath held, and Jaden stood, caught between fear and the undeniable need for connection. Would he be able to guide them without slipping beneath the tide of emotions? For the first time, he understood the magnitude of this moment, the journey they were embarking on. Would everyone be ready to wade through the highs and lows together when the storm hit? He took a deep breath, steeling himself for whatever was to come next. But just then, a commotion broke through. Someone at the edge of the circle, a figure silhouetted against the dim light, called out with a tremor in their voice. "Wait! Wait! I want to share too." The crowd parted slightly, revealing a teenager, her face streaked with tears but her eyes ablaze with fierce emotion. Jaden's heart raced as the girl stepped forward, her courage igniting something powerful within the circle. The air felt electric, wrapped in empathy and raw emotion. "My name is Mia," she announced, her voice shaking but resolute. "I've been where you are. I felt lost, invisible. I never knew there were people who cared." She looked around, scanning the faces eager for connection. "But being here, with all of you, reminds me that I am not alone." Each syllable fell like a raindrop, splashing against the quiet ache in the group's chest. Jaden could feel the collective breath being held. They were all leaning into Mia's story, allowing their hearts to swell with hope and understanding. The chatter around melted into silence as she shared more about her struggles. For the first time, the crowd realized the truth of their gathering. Their pain, their fears, mingled with strength and love. There was safety here. A sanctuary. As Mia concluded her heartfelt tale, applause erupted, echoing their appreciation and support. Jaden felt a rush of pride swell within him. Together, they were crafting something electric, something real. "Do you all feel that?" he cried out suddenly over the applause, excitement bubbling over. "This moment, it's what we've been waiting for. It's not about being perfect. It's about being together." Loud cheers rippled through the crowd. It was a blissful cacophony of connection and acceptance, wrapping around Jaden like a warm blanket. He knew in that instant this was what he had hoped for, a community acknowledging both stories and scars. Lily stepped forward next, her pink hair bouncing, her voice ringing clear. "I want to share too. Remember, we're all in this together." The invitation invited more brave souls to come forth, faces, friendships, and fears intertwining, creating an unbreakable tapestry of support. Jaden felt the shadows of self-doubt recede. Here, gathered together, they formed a family, a tapestry of experiences that lived beyond any single headline. Each story shared unveiled more willingness to embrace vulnerability, and Jaden knew he had taken the first significant steps toward community change. As the last golden rays of sunlight faded and street lamps flickered on, glowing softly around them, Jaden stood before the crowd, heart full and lips slightly trembling. Tonight was just the beginning. He paused, feeling the weight of their shared stories and the bright spirit of hope running through them. Let us promise to stay in touch, to keep lifting one another up, and to continue sharing. This is our moment to rise together. The roar of applause resounded, mingling with laughter and joy, and somewhere, deep inside Jaden, a light flickered to life, a flame of purpose that had been missing. The difficult journey ahead would be shared. For the first time, he realized the narrative wasn't just his. It belonged to everyone standing before him. They all had a part to play. Let us not stop here, Jaden declared, finally allowing tears of relief to brim in his eyes. Amid the powerful moment of connection, the weight of expectation melted away. This wasn't just an event, it was the dawn of a movement. They would change the conversation. They would infuse their voices into the world. As the crowd erupted in cheers, Jaden felt himself being lifted in a swell of love and warmth, surrounded by those who believed in him. They believed in one another. They were united, hearts vibrating with resilience. In that moment, Jaden knew he had overcome the fear of being a headline. He was Jaden, a boy with a story. And together, they would rewrite the narrative. Sharing the truth amidst the chaos, the heart of community. As the first stars twinkled overhead, Jaden glanced at the smiling faces surrounding him, hearts connecting brighter than any headline could ever convey. This was the moment he waited for, this was where change began. Now, it's your turn. This is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread these heartwarming tales. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And remember to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second, because only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.